Hi, people coming in. I can see people. Say hi in the comments so I know who you are, because we're not doing. Actually, I could try streaming this to Facebook, couldn't I? I wasn't going to stream it to Facebook, but I could actually. Just while you're all coming in. So I'll try that, and I'm not going to worry if it doesn't work. We'll just see if it works. So let me come back to Zoom. Why am I not seeing the chat? There it is. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Dee in Sunny Hove. Hi, Victoria in Melbourne. See, I do this at this time because then I know I can get people in Australia, hopefully, who can attend. We do that in the full course. We always do 2 Q&As, one in the morning, one in the evening, so that we can hopefully get people down under. Hi, Kerry. Hi, Cheryl in New Zealand. See, it worked. We're getting people from all the way down there. Hi from Charmaine in Warwickshire, Margaret in Mayfield, and Hannah-Lise in Copenhagen. Fantastic. Now, I am here to answer anybody's questions about the course. I have some that were sent to me by email. Mandy says, I can't see anyone. I can hear but a blank screen. I'm definitely here, Mandy. So I don't know why you can't see me. Maybe try logging in again. But that sounds like, on a different device. Hi from Spain, from Germany, Australia, Kerry in Australia, very stormy there. Black screen here as well. I can only see Louise when I minimize her screen. Christine can see, Di can't see. Yeah, my Zoom, my camera's on and I'm here, I can see me. So I don't know why some people can't see me. There's no one else but me on, Kerry, just me. Hi, Elizma, lovely to see you. So, and if you're on the Facebook group and you've just seen me pop on, it's because I suddenly realized I'm doing this live Q&A via Zoom for anybody who wants to ask me questions about the course. But then I realized I may as well stream it to Facebook just in case anybody there wants to see it. So if you're on Facebook, say hi. If you're not interested in the full course, you can tune me out because that's what I'm talking about today. So let me go back to my people on Zoom. So here's the deal. Some people emailed me questions because they can't be here, but they want me to send them a recording. So I can go through those. But if you have a question, please type it into the chat. Anything you want to know, anything, just type it in and I am happy to answer. That's what I'm here for today. This will go as short or as long as it needs to before we run out of questions. So I'm going to just tell you the ones I got by email because those might relate to you. And then if you have anything else, you just ask me. So the big biggie that I keep getting asked, and this is from Rachel, who said she was hopefully going to join us. So I hope you're here, Rachel, who's struggling to make a decision. And I'll just say now, I'm really good at marketing, right? I like marketing. I want as many people as possible to know about this course, but I don't want to persuade anybody who it's not right for. So I have been telling people by email if I don't think it's right for them, and I will do that here today too. So, and I'm going to tell you the truth about what I can and can't promise, because there's nothing worse than having people invest a lot of money in something thinking it's going to be something other than what it is. So this one, sorry, I'm squinting because I've made this too small. Rachel said, she's just completed CVP. So if you don't know what that is, it's another online course with a different focus, more about the technical aspects of making art, like composition and color and value contrast. And I cover that too, but in a looser probably less intense way. And CVP is brilliant. It's really, really thorough program. But often Rachel is experiencing what many people do after she leaves that course. I'm still struggling to find my style. And I think that's where Find Your Joy might come in. Am I right, do you think? And I have had a version of this question from people who have or haven't taken the other course. The question is, as well as finding my joy, can I find my style? And the answer is yes and no. So what do I mean by that? First of all, think back to the rush for results exercise and the things I talked about there, where how when we're making a painting, if we're focused on making a good painting, we often don't, because we're not focused on the right things. And the same applies to finding a style. Because if you're focused on what's my style, you're missing all the clues. You're too busy. You're looking at the wrong thing. What you need to do, your style is simply a combination of all the things you like, right? So let's take an extreme example. Jackson Pollock found real flow in flinging paint and having massive canvases on the floor, taking giant tins of kind of the equivalent of house paint and dripping those in what turned out to be really quite amazing fractal patterns. But he wasn't conscious necessarily of doing that, but that's what he was doing. If he tried to make fractals, they wouldn't have worked, I'm sure. But that's what he discovered was his way of expressing himself. That came out of a process of working and finding his own way. That didn't come from him saying, let me sit down and think about what kind of style I might have. It came from a series of choices, and it evolved over time. So he didn't start making drip paintings. He started painting some representation in his early paintings. I would say it gets quite distorted, but it's there. And then he gets further and further into kind of pattern type abstracts, and then gets to the drips. But all the way along, he's following the clues. He's following what he's interested in. And that is where your style comes from. It's you following what you really want, what you really love, what you're really interested in, not what you've seen someone else do, what you think's probably the right thing to do. And that's hard to do by yourself, because we've got all these layers of coulds and shoulds and musts from our life experience layered over the top of what is actually natural to us, what we did as a kid. When you were a kid, you didn't sit there agonizing over where to put a line or whether your painting was finished or not. You just finished it when you felt like finishing it. You can get back to that once we strip everything else away. But so your style is an amalgam of all the things you prefer, the type of tools, the type of colors, the type of substrate, the type of subject. And just like Jackson Pollock, it evolves over time. The only reason we now think of Jackson Pollock as of drip paintings is because he smashed himself up in a drunken car accident. If he had lived longer, his paintings would have moved on again to something else. So you don't find a style and then stick to it. You find your joy, your preferences, the things that make you happy, that lead you on a path, like following breadcrumbs. And you are then fully motivated to keep going and follow the breadcrumbs. So in 10 weeks' time, you won't go, right, done, I've got a style. What I want for you is that in 10 weeks' time, you are excited to keep exploring. We finish the course by we've done all sorts of explorations and journaling and thinking, and then we finish by bringing it all together into a final idea of embarking on an exploration. And you finish the course by beginning your exploration. So I want you to leave the course excited and thrilled to go off and start discovering more on your own. You will have all the tools you need, and you won't need me again. You'll be able to do this for yourself. So That's what the goal of the course is. It's not to give you a set style that you just, you can just go off and say, right, I now paint bold colored abstracts of this size and I apply the paint this way, because honestly, that would be no fun, would it? Because then what are you going to do for the rest of your life? You've now worked it out. So it really is like, my style has changed so much in the last few years, but it always looks like me, but it keeps changing, and what I'm interested in keeps changing because I keep changing, and the same will be true of you. So that biggie, I just want you to realize that you don't find your style by looking for it. You find your style, again, by focusing on the process. What kind of artist do I admire and why? What kind of art that I made in the past do I like and why? What exercises that I'm doing now have I enjoyed, and which ones have I really not enjoyed? All of these are clues. Like even in the free taster, you didn't have to like everything I set for you. In fact, it'd be weird if you loved everything. Well, not weird, because actually I love all those exercises, but it's not weird if you don't, right? There's things in there you might not like, and that's just a clue to you. There was someone who said, oh, I love big canvases and splash and paint around, and I really didn't like this limitations exercise. That's, obviously she wouldn't, because she likes big canvases and throwing paint with abandon. She already knows that. So that exercise really wasn't going to be good for her. But every single thing you prefer is leading you to who you are as an artist. So maybe rather than saying I'll help you find your style, I'll help you find your path as an artist. That's what this course can do. But if you are looking to come to this course and leave in 10 weeks as an accomplished abstract expressionist, for example, that won't happen. Making art is challenging, and it's the challenge that makes it exciting. And we just have to get you on a path, experimenting with the things that you love so that it's exciting and joyful, rather than what it sometimes is disappointing, frustrating, tense, etc. So I hope that makes sense. I always keep trying to find new ways to say this in a way that it will make sense. Rachel's asking, can you give us more details about course structure? Yes. And this was one of the questions I had written down, so I can do it now in answer to your question, Rachel. So how does it work? On Mondays, starting on the 21st, you get a new module from me. So in that module, there's usually, and it will slightly vary, a lesson video. Sometimes there might be more than one lesson video where I talk about an idea, like I did in the taster course, a painting assignment like we had in the taster course, which will be either abstract or representational. You choose, doesn't matter. You can do both during the course if you want. And a journal prompt, or more than one journal prompt, which is designed, sometimes it'll be writing, sometimes it'll be going and researching some artists and sticking things in your book. Sometimes, that journal that you're going to work on is going to become a massive source of inspiration for you. So every Monday you get that. And then I'm not sure of the day yet when I'm going to do this, but towards the end of the week, you will get bonus content, which is a video or an article or something I found for you, which I didn't create, but which I think is really valuable. So it might be an artist interview. It might be an interview with someone not related to art. It might be a talk from someone, or it might be an article, but it will complement what we've been learning. And every Saturday, and this is new for this year, I'm going to actually work during the week on the same assignment as you. And I'm going to try it in acrylics, but maybe also some in watercolors or inks. I don't have oils, so I can't do that. I might try a couple representationally. So I'm just going to play and experiment along with you. And I'm going to film that during the week. And then I'm going to send that film out on a Saturday. I don't want to give you my demos at the beginning because I don't want to influence what you do. But at the end of the week, I'll send that. And midweek, we have 2 calls. And one is in the morning, like this one, and one is in the evening. And you pick one of them. So you don't have to come to both. They're just different time zone calls. And I answer questions from everybody on those calls. So I reckon to watch videos and calls in a week, probably 3 hours is what you will be taking up. And then to paint, I think 2 hours in a week is enough. I think if you can do more, it's brilliant, but 2 hours is enough to get what you need. And then the journaling, some people really get into the art journaling and their books become a work of art. Some people just do little bits and pieces. So that is up to you, but you will need a minimum of 30 minutes a week on the journal prompts. So what does that add up to? 3 hours, 2 hours, 5. So about between 5 to 6 hours to get the most out of the course. We have 2 weeks where it's learning integration weeks. And everybody always says, oh, I don't see the point of these when they start. And then when we get into the course, they're like, oh, I'm so grateful for that week. We added those. Originally, when I designed this, it was an 8-week course, but it wasn't long enough for people to digest. So I added the integration weeks. In the integration weeks, we have an optional assignment. So for those people who are tearing ahead and want more to do, there's an assignment. But if you're behind, you get the week to catch up. And in those weeks, I still send out a demo. I do the optional assignment with you. So I hope that is, I'm just looking at your question, Rachel, to see if I answered. Is support given in one big Facebook group, or are there smaller, more intimate breakout groups? No. And this is very, very deliberate. I'm not setting up separate, smaller Facebook groups. The benefit of this is to be with people. We have a tendency to want to go, oh, I want to go back in my comfort zone. I don't like all these people. And I really don't want that, because being an artist is about being on the edge, not being in your comfort zone. But we have ways to manage the Facebook group so it's less intimidating. We have a video to show you how to turn off notifications so that you don't have to see everything, and you do not have to use the Facebook group to access the course, unlike the taster. So you can ask questions and communicate with the coaches in the hub where the course content is, and every question gets answered in there. We're on duty in there all the time, going through the questions. You can also ask questions on the weekly Q&A calls, and those will be done in Facebook and on Zoom, so you can choose. So the Facebook group is one big group. We need to be able to be in there commenting and helping, and we can't do that if it's a lot of breakout groups. And you need to be mingling with artists of all different levels and different styles in order to get the most out of the course. And if I split you into smaller groups, that doesn't happen. Wow, lots and lots of questions. I'm going to have to whiz through these. I'm looking at comments. Will the course also address mindset like the taster did? Yes, Julia, that's a big chunk of it. So it's all about finding what you love, overcoming obstacles, becoming more of you. And then towards the end, we get into some composition and color so that you can start to refine the things you've been doing. Kerry wants to do the course, but won't be home until 1st of July, but can see the lesson in the first week, won't be able to do any work. Right, so the course is available, Kerry, for 12 months. You get 12 full months from the 21st of June. If you can watch the content while you're away, that'd be great. Kerry's going away, so she's just worried about missing a couple of weeks. So if you can watch the content, that's great. You can do the assignments when you get back, and those catch-up weeks will be really handy for you, particularly the first one. The free Find Your Joyce course material, Kerry's also asking about, that disappears from the general internet, but it goes into the paid course. Just give us a couple of days to sort that out, but it goes into the paid course and it remains there for the duration of your stay in the course. So you can have those exercises to revisit. How can one get the most out of the course apart from doing the assignments, says Dion. Great question. The journaling. Right, I'm gonna, excuse me, my bum's going numb. Just move my chair in. I am going to teach you how to use a sketchbook to be the source of your inspiration, your internally generated inspiration and externally generated. And so to really get the most out of it, diving into that exploration of yourself is vital. The painting is really important, but this side of it is just as important, because it's about, yes, it's about knowing what tools and brushes and substrates and colors you like, but it's also about knowing what excites you visually, what inspires you, what do you notice when you go out walking, what do you stop and take pictures of. Those things are all clues to who you are as an artist. And too often we've been too busy in our lives to stop and look. So I'm going to be trying to push you to really stop and pay attention to yourself. You're going to have 10 weeks thinking about yourself, which some people feel is really selfish, and I feel is just vital, especially for those people. I get messages from people, oh, but I'm a carer for someone, or, you know, I have young kids, or I look after my grandkids in the summer. Especially if you have other people to look after. Looking after yourself, and trust me, I know this, looking after yourself and putting your own needs first is the least selfish thing you can do. Because if you don't, you get burnt out, you get frazzled, you get resentful. You still do things for people, but you do it kind of, you know, with a little bite, and you get exhausted. Even if you don't get grumpy with people, you get exhausted. You have to fill yourself up in order to have enough to give to other people. I don't know how I got off on that, but that's how you can get the most out of it. And the other thing is, when you join, you'll be asked to set an intention for yourself. And so for example, an intention might be, I commit to showing up fully for everything in this course, and to not letting fear get the better of me. So we set an intention, and that helps us go back and check in, because I can only do so much. I can lead a horse to water, as they say, but I can't make you do the stuff. So your intention is really important. Tim, please advise what an experienced artist wanting to develop further will get from this, seriously thinking of joining. So we have quite a few experienced artists joining, and we've had quite a few in the past. And what I hear from them that they get from it is what you got out of the free taster lessons, Tim. They get a revitalized way of looking at their work. And I do this myself every year when I teach it, because it gives me new ideas, new perspectives, new ways of thinking about things. I also get a lot of inspiration from the beginner artists and from what some of them do, because they don't have preconceived ideas the way we do. So if this wasn't my course to teach, I think I would take this course maybe every other year, because I think it's a really good way of juicing up what you do and giving you a different perspective, and also exposing you to some people who have less experience, but also therefore less bad habits perhaps, or less preconceived notions. I hope that helps. Think about what you loved about the free exercises, Tim, and if you want to ask me in more detail if that will carry on, you could always email. Any emails, just send to fyjteam2021@gmail.com, and we are all in there constantly checking for questions. Claire, I'm a complete beginner with paint. She loves painting. Didn't pick up a brush or even own paints until 2 months ago. Will I be out of my depth? No, there is no depth. No depth. We're all, no. See, isn't it interesting? So we've got experienced people wondering, and junior people wondering, junior as in beginners. Sorry, you're not junior, but you know what I mean. And perhaps it feels like I'm saying, yeah, it works for everyone. It works for everyone. It works for every type of art, and it works for every level of experience, but it doesn't work for everyone. So it works for you because I'm not teaching everything. So it doesn't work for you if you want to learn how to paint classical Florence style portraits, for example, because that's not what I'm teaching. And it doesn't work for you if you want to learn how to make beautiful watercolors, because that's not what I'm teaching. It works for you if you want to either start to find your voice as an artist, start to understand who you are and what you want to pursue, or you want to reinvigorate your art practice, as I was saying to Tim, and bring something new in. It's really the taster course, lots more of that kind of stuff combined with sketchbook work on a steadier pace, going a lot deeper in. That's why I do the taster, really, is to give you an idea of how you felt. So if you enjoyed the taster, Claire, then you will enjoy this. And the key to success, this is another thing you can do to be successful on the course. Stay in your lane. Don't compare yourself to other people. This is your time. So if Claire looks at Tim, and Tim's an experienced painter and she's just started, she's going to start to feel like, oh, look at Tim, he can do all this and I can only do this. But Tim could only do that when he was starting. That's how it goes. So we have to be strict on ourselves. And I recommend making that an intention. I will not look at somebody with 30 years of painting experience and then compare myself negatively. Because if you were going to go on to MasterChef, our UK cooking TV show, and go up against, I don't know, Gordon Ramsay, you wouldn't expect to be as good a cook as Gordon Ramsay right at the beginning, or I certainly wouldn't, because I'm very limited as a cook. Over time, if you spent as long as he did and worked as hard as he did, maybe you would become as good. So that's what it's all about. Sally, I have a sense I should try to really understand colour before I move to my joy and expression. I'm not really a beginner, but an early painter. No. So this is my big philosophy, Sally, that when we try to focus on the technical aspects of things before we've focused on exploring and getting free and comfortable with paint and finding out who we are. So we are going to work with colour in this course, but in a really natural and organic way, just as the way I showed you in the taster course, where we just take some colours and start playing. We're going to do some of that, but then later on in the programme, I think it's either week 8 or 9, I forget which week it is, we really get into colour in detail, and I show you really 3 ways to work with colour. That we're not going to look at a colour wheel or colour theory. We're going to look at colour in a different way, in a really simple and joyful way. We're going to look at colour value, the lightness and darkness of colour, colour saturation, the bright vividness of colour, and colour temperature, the warmth and cool. And I'm going to show you how just understanding those 3 things will be enough to help you use color in beautiful ways. But don't this is a course to kick you off, not a course to come back to when you've got all the experience. I hope that's clear. Marilyn, I answered you. I know you would type this in. I've already answered someone else. You will not be out of your depth. Not done any journaling. Well, that's good. Right, imagine, and I'd written this down as an answer to someone else, but I'll say it to you now, Marilyn. Imagine, why would you take a course where you already know how to do all the things that are in the course? So I'm going to take this course, but I've already done all those things. I'm just going to do them over and over again, and then I can, perhaps the teacher will be really impressed at how good I am. That's what we do when we take a course that we already know how to do. I want you to do things you've not done before, or if you have used a sketchbook, to maybe use it in a different way. Or there will be students on the course who do use a sketchbook the way I'm showing, and who will be great at helping other people along. That's the other thing about the Facebook group is lovely, is we get people with all different types of experience holding each other's hand and giving a different perspective than just mine, which is excellent. I've done that one. Thanks, Angela. You're very welcome. Elizma's on a road trip with no signal or internet. Would it be possible to make the payment on the 18th? Elizma, just email us about that, fyjteam2021@gmail.com. Sorry, I'm looking at comments and trying to find the questions. How can you unpack how the representational and the abstract can be dovetailed into the course, says Mandy. You're exploring tighter areas around features in portraits, but exploring with abstract mark making in the background and clothing. Oh, I see. So the way the course works and how it's dovetailed in is I will give an assignment. Well, didn't I do this in the taster course? I'm trying to remember. I'm sure I did this in the taster course. My mind's gone blank. I will give you an assignment and I will say, representational artists do this. Abstract artists do this. And you can choose whichever one you want to do. Or if you've got time, of course, you can do both. So then, but the exercises will be designed to push you out of tightness. So the part, Mandy, that you're working on with tightening the areas around the features, as I said, that's not what I'm teaching. So I don't want to mislead you there. That's not what I'll be doing. That's your skill to develop. But the exercises we do will give you some really cool ideas for those abstract backgrounds and for how you might want to integrate the two, because I'm going to push you to do things. Yes, you're going to be working representationally, but I want to guide you to doing it in a way that's looser, if that makes sense. So I know where we did it in the taster course. It's when I said to do what you normally paint, but to do it in different colors and different tools. So that kind of thing is what we'll be exploring, so that you surprise yourself, so that at the moment you, Mandy, have got a very clear idea of what you want to do. And that's great, but it limits you, because when you've got the clear idea, you're not letting in new possibilities that you can't imagine. And it's the new possibilities you can't imagine that are going to bring the excitement to your work, because anything you can imagine has already been done by someone else, so you wouldn't be able to imagine it. See what I'm saying? So we're going to bring in, through the exercises, different ways. So I would, for somebody who wants to combine abstract and representational, I would suggest doing all the exercises, abstract and representational. And you might not have time the first time round, but you have a year's access, because doing it that way, you're going to get all sorts of interesting things out of it. Eliza, how different will this year's course be from last year? Not really very different. The curriculum is really carefully designed and structured. So I'm not going to like throw it all up in the air and change it every year. I re-record all the videos. I make it up to date. We will have coaches on the calls with me this year, which is the first time, and my painting demos, whereas in prior years I filmed myself making whatever work I'm making. This year I'm trying this new thing where I'm going to go through the course with you and film that. But otherwise the content of the assignments and the lessons is the same, because it has to be, because it's designed to be, you know, to take you on a journey from A to B, and I can't do that if I keep changing it. Pippa, will it help me as a printmaker? This I really don't know how to answer, Pippa. I am like the world's most useless printmaker knowledge person. I don't know anything about it other than having a jelly plate. I mean, I roughly know what it is, but it's hard for me to know whether to tell you whether it would be any good for you. The exercises are structured as painting exercises with mixed media thrown in. That's not to say you couldn't adapt them, but printmaking obviously involves more thought, and because you've got to plan certain things, I would imagine, in order to know what's going to happen. And I just don't know. I'm sorry that I can't be more help on that, but think of it as a painting course. If you're interested in a painting course to explore your voice, yes, but there's no printmaking exercises. This person's doesn't have a name, they just have a string of numbers, but I'm an intermediate abstract impressionist painter. I would like to know how more a deep dive into technical details for abstract painting. I don't cover really technical details. It depends what you mean, Dominique, and it's not a deep dive into technical aspects. That's, you know, you can tell from the taster course what I teach. So don't sign up if that's what you're looking for. That would be, you should wait for February and look for the Creative Visionary Program with Nicholas Wilton. If what you mean by technical details is composition, structure, design, value, balance, all of those things, we do some of that towards the end of the course. And then I recommend there's a few different courses I recommend if you want to go deeper into all that stuff, but that's not what my main focus is. Jocelyn, does the course cover things you've already covered when you made previous YouTube videos that are available on the internet? No, as in I'm not like regurgitating content from YouTube and putting it in the course. I would never give away what's in the course on YouTube. But yes, in the sense that my general philosophy of creation is going to come across in everything I put out on the internet. But no, it's not like you're going to come in and go, oh, I saw this video on YouTube. I think there's one demo video I shared with you in the free taster course, which is on YouTube, which was me painting a black and white painting, just because I know lots of people are not on YouTube and I wanted them to see it. But no, things aren't repeated. I'm glad I gave you a light bulb moment, Mendy. Yeah, the journaling and sketchbook stuff, Tim, is like, that's, I think, where a lot of the meat of this comes in. Julia, is the last day to pay by the 16th in the UK? No, it's the 16th midnight Pacific. I think it's PDT at the moment, Pacific time in America. So when you look on the time converter, for me, that's about 8 in the morning, my time. And the reason I picked midnight Pacific time is I can get up early and answer the final questions that come in, because people always wait till the last minute and then fire questions. And if I make it when I'm asleep, which would be New York time, if I make it then, I'm fast asleep and I can't answer people's questions. Marie-Louise just put a link to a time converter in the comments. I'm just going to pop over to Facebook because I've answered all Zoom comments. Oh, I don't see any questions on Facebook, but maybe I'm not. If you're on Facebook, just type hi or something. So why am I not seeing the comments? That's annoying. I might have to come in and just go into the group. Sorry, everybody. I might have to come back and answer Facebook comments afterwards, because for some reason on the video I'm looking at, I can't see your comments. I do have a couple of other questions that came in by email, but you've given me great questions. I've answered most of them. Oh, I can see your comments here. So hold on a second. Let me. Yeah, I can see comments on Facebook now. How many people have joined so far, says Rachel? Well, now I'm not going to reveal that, am I? But it's going to be more people than last year, but not massively more people than last year. So last year was about 900 people. Bjorg asks, do your coaches respond to questions throughout the year? No. So that's really important to know. I only have them on my team for the period of the run up to the course and just after the course. And then, because otherwise they would be sitting around for most of the time with nothing to do and just answering the very occasional question. So no, we are full on for the 10 weeks. Everything we answer or record is there for you if you're continuing. So if one of my coaches has answered a question in the hub, for example, it's there for you to read later. All the video calls are there for you to catch up on later. Rachel, I'm going to be away from home for the first week of the course. What do I need to take with me to keep up? You need to take some paper, a few colors of paint, and something to paint with for the first exercise. That's what you will need. And a radio or an Alexa or a CD player. Louisa, good question. Is it every day? So I just want to emphasize this as well. The free taster course is mad, right? I go crazy. I give you something every day and it's overwhelming. And even now I'm still emailing you my thoughts every day and you're like, ah. But the main course, we get to slow down and go deeper in, and you spend more time working on your own. So you get, as I've told you, the different things that happen each day, but it's a lot slower pace. So the only thing you have to be there for live, if you want to be, are the live calls, which is twice a week, and you only pick one of those. So you have one thing to actually be there for every week. Other than that, you can make this fit into your day. You have access to the course for 12 months, Louisa, and you then have access to the group afterwards. Yes, so the Facebook group stays there. And eventually I might consolidate the Facebook groups of ex-students into an alumni group, but I haven't done that yet. Just having a look, lots of highs. Okay, no more questions on Facebook. I'm going to come back to Zoom and then I'll just check the what size of sketchbook would be good to purchase? Jocelyn, I really leave that up to you in the materials list, because it depends on what you like. Like, I really like working in something about this size before. I used to really enjoy that. Now I find I've spread out to something more like this size, because I just enjoy more space to maneuver. So don't put too much weight on what it is. Find something that feels comfortable to you. You want something with nice enough paper that you can perhaps paint on. So at least kind of, I don't know, if you can get something with 140 GSM, but you might not be able to, that would be great. Canson mixed media sketchbooks are really good. They're like spiral bound for painting on. But that's just so if you decide you want to paint in it, you might just want to paint on paper and stick that in. We're also going to stick images in there. We're going to do writing in there. So something you feel like you can write in and that's big enough to put images in. Nick says, will we see the whole Ted Hughes work of your painting? I love what I've glimpsed so far and love Ted and Sylvia's work. So Nick, you will see that, but not as part of the course. You can see that anyway, because starting in July, actually, see this white thing behind me with all these little pictures on? That's my proofs from the publisher of what some of the images look like when they're printed up. But starting in July, I have to do pre-marketing for the book for the publishers, because they want to sell signed copies. And so I'll have a month of letting everyone know about the book and sharing the paintings, and there will be videos and all of that. So you will see that regardless of whether you join up for the course or not. And I just answered Tim's question. So the white one is the proofs of the book, and these other images are proofs from my printer of the paintings. So they're small versions of the paintings, because I'm going to be able to sell prints of them. Julia, I really want to do this course. My heart says do it. My head says no dollars. Help sway me to the yes side. Well, I wouldn't do that without knowing what the no dollars is about. So I would never suggest anyone gets into any kind of uncomfortable financial situation to do this course. And so I don't know what the story is there, but I would say if it's affordable, but it just feels like it's too much of an indulgence, then I go back to what I said before. I think that, well, I think art is really important. I think that I know some people think it's frivolous. I have friends who think it's frivolous. I think it's vital and important for humanity that we have art. And I also think it's vital and important for you as an artist that you express yourself. If you don't, it's bottled up inside, and I think it turns into illness and stress. I think that we have to we have to make our art. It's a part of ourselves, just as some people have to, exercise, and some people have to restore old cars to feel happy. Some people have to go to football matches. We have to make our art. And so I don't want to push you, Julia, but I think it comes down to asking yourself, what is the objection to spending the money? And if the objection is, well, we need food for next week and shoes for the kids, then don't spend the money. If the objection is, I don't feel like I deserve this, or it seems like a lot to spend on myself, or it seems like an indulgence, then I would say really question that, and are you worth that investment in yourself? Just checking I didn't miss anything. I've been the art school research route, teacher, lecturer, in textiles, but fine art. Could you tell me a bit more about how the course is useful for teachers and very experienced artists, says Rachel. So this is a bit like what I said to Tim. I won't be teaching you anything that you don't know, Rachel, first of all. Obviously, you've had years and years of art making and teaching in art. So I'm not going to come up with a new way to describe how to use color or a new idea about composition that you never thought of. That's not going to happen. What this course, I would ask you, why do you feel like you need it? You said you want to clarify your art practice after a break. So in that sense, this course is about revitalizing, sparking, working on your art practice. That's what it's about, not the technical knowledge that you already have. But I can't say whether it's so hard to say whether it would do what you need, because I don't know exactly what you need. So maybe what would make sense, Rachel, is to just email me, louisefletcherart@gmail.com, with a bit more detail of what you're hoping for, and I can be clearer about whether I think it would be good. Diane just found €475 she didn't know she had. Now that's a good day, isn't it? There's something that I'm going to pass this on to you, and it's going to sound nuts. When I wanted to do something and I didn't have the money, a very spiritual person that I know told me she really believes in the whole law of attraction thing, that you can attract things to you. So she told me to say this mantra: I am open to receiving money from unexpected sources. And so I was to write it down and say it every day, which I did very obediently, even though I didn't think it would work. And it was so funny because a few days later, I'd been rejected for an event, an art event, where the sales are always good. And I was really frustrated at being rejected. I felt it was unfair. I felt I should have been included. And I got a phone call from them saying, a few people have dropped out and you were on the short list. Would you like to come to the event? And my old prideful self might have said, no, I do not. You rejected me. But I thought, oh, money from unexpected sources. It was totally unexpected. I couldn't have imagined that. I said yes. I sold some paintings because it always does well, that event. And yeah, I got the money that I needed. So you never know. If you just say that, you never know what might happen. I'm not endorsing it as a fact. I'm just saying what happened to me. Checking on the comments on Facebook. I think I've answered everything. Let me just check the comments that were emailed in, because I'm going to send this recording out to everybody. If you've had your question answered, please don't feel like you have to sit here, listen to me rambling on. A few people have asked if they could have a different payment plan. A lot of people have asked this. Could I have it over 12 months? Could I have it over 8 months? Could I have it in 2 payments? We have to stick to the 2 payment plans for accounting and admin purposes and system purposes. It would just be too complicated to manage everybody's individual requests. So I'm really sorry about that. But I changed the payment plan this year to go over 4 months, which everyone told me not to do, because you're supposed to only do the payment plan for as long as the course. But I know you know, it's not a great time financially. And so I stretched it out over 4 months, but I can't do any different ones. A great question that I got from somebody by email, and I thought I'd share this one, was, what if I find the real me as an artist and I don't like the art that the real me makes? So that's a good one. And I told this person, I'm sorry, I've forgotten who asked that question. I don't think, well, I know that's never happened so far. I haven't found anyone that's happened for, but it really did make me think, has that ever happened? I think that because the way I'm teaching you to make your art is to choose only the things you love, it's not really possible that you get to the end of it and say, I don't like it. But it is possible that you get to the end of it and it's surprising that happens. Like, I can't believe I make colorful, big, bold, colorful work. I always thought I'd make black and white, or I always thought I was much more muted. So you might surprise yourself, but I don't think it's possible to not like what you create if you're following the things you love, if that makes sense. Did I have anything else? Ty asked, what's the last day to withdraw for a refund? So Ty's not sure she can afford it, but she doesn't want to miss out. So she wants to book in, and then if she can't afford it, cancel. So the last day is Sunday, August the 4th, Ty. So write that one down. Marilyn, I really wanted to just talk about fear for Marilyn. She posted in Facebook. She's wants to do the course, but she's a newbie and probably didn't get it, she says, in some of the assignments. I'm afraid I'd mess up. Looking at some of the modules is daunting. Never used a notebook, for example. The fear is creeping back in. I'm not sure if I can, but I won't know until I do. Maybe I should just practice the elements of your free course and maybe do the full course next year. And this is a really good example of fear pushing us back into our comfort zone. So I'm not a psychologist and I'm going to butcher this, but my basic understanding is that our brains push us towards comfort and away from danger. And that's an evolutionary thing, that your brain is there to keep you safe. And so anytime you venture out onto a ledge, your brain's going to pull you back in and say, no, it'd be much safer and warmer and more comfortable over here. So that's what's happening now, Marilyn. You want to do something, but the fear is telling you that it's going to shake you up. The fear is saying, this is going to be different from anything you've done before. Stop, Marilyn. You really don't want to do that. But as I said earlier, what would be the point of spending so much money to do something that you feel comfortable with? You could do that on your own. So if we're learning, we're out of our comfort zone, and that can be really scary, especially if you're fairly at the beginning, as you said. So you've got lots to learn, but you can't mess it up. You can't mess my course up. There is no messing up. There's no homework, there's no exams, there's no grades, there's no right or wrong. And the more experienced artists who are here, like Rachel and Tim, who've asked questions, they know that the fear is just constant. It's just that it gets much, much quieter once you realize it doesn't matter. And in fact, it's not that it doesn't matter. I pulled this quote for you from a marketing guy that we had on our podcast once called Seth Godin. And he says, and you'll hear more from Seth if you take the course, because I have an interview with him as a bonus video all about fear. But he says, dance with fear. Don't avoid fear, dance with fear. As you dance, you realize that fear is in fact a compass. It's giving you a hint that you are onto something. Even though there is that possibility of failure, the fear as compass pushes you to persistently, consistently, and generously bring your creative work forward. So every time I paint, I'm scared of failure in the background. Currently, I'm priming a series of wood panels to start a new series, and I have no idea how I made the last ones, no idea where they came from. So I look at these panels and think, am I going to be able to do this again? And because I'm quite public now in my own little tiny world, but still people look at me, it's more embarrassing if I do mess up. So there's that little voice saying, you know, you might not be able to do it again. But I know that that fear is my best clue that I'm doing it right. Because if I'm not scared, if I'm just going to repeat what I've done before and do what's comfortable, then I don't think I'm making art anymore. I think I'm verging towards craft, and there's nothing wrong with craft, but that's not what I want to do. So I need to be doing something new and different, which means I'm going to be pushing into new areas, which means I'm always going to feel a little bit anxious. And I think new artists get confused and think that that fear and anxiety is just because they're new. They don't realize that all the artists they look up to also have that fear and anxiety. We've just got used to the fact it's part of what we do. And it's not so much fear, it's fear and excitement are very close together. So when I'm looking at those panels, yeah, I'm a bit anxious, like, will I be able to do it? But it's also super exciting to have all these wood panels of different sizes there waiting for me to make something brand new that's never existed before and never will. If I don't make it, it will never exist. So that fear, it's the sign that you're on your way to confidence. And if that sounds mad, what I mean by that is every time you overcome those little fears and take that risk, and this isn't about whether you take my course or not, this is more about in your painting. When you take a risk with a painting, every time you do it, you get a bit more confident because you did it. And that confidence, it translates to everything. Your life starts to change when you accept the fear in your art and do it anyway. And that's the magic of this. And it changes slowly in little ways. And then you suddenly notice, or somebody else notices, oh, you seem very confident in that situation that you weren't confident in before, because your art did it for you. Last question that I was asked in advance is, when will I do this again? And I wish I had an answer for this. So it may be next year. I've had lots of questions. Can you do it again in the winter? This course takes me, well, it's 2 or 3 months of work in preparation, and then 3 months of teaching pretty much by the time we wrap it all up. So it's 6 months of my year, full on, very little painting time. And that means the rest of the year I have to spend on painting, because no one will want to learn from me if I don't make art. And making art is the thing I'm actually here for, just as much as teaching. So I don't do it twice a year, I do it once, and it takes everything out of me, and then I spend the rest of the year recovering. And then I usually do it once a year. That's the way it's been for the last few years. Things are a little bit up in the air for me. I had planned to take a painting year next year anyway, and now some things are up in the air health-wise in my family. So I just have no idea what's going to happen. I'm in that situation that we all find ourselves in, where everything tips upside down and you have to rearrange your life and try and work out what's going to happen. So I do know it won't be this year. And I do know if I do it again, it'll be around this time next year. But I may have a year off. So is there anything else I haven't answered? I wanted to make sure I got to everyone's questions. Sorry, Christine, it's July the 4th. You're right. I shouldn't try and answer things with numbers and dates in, because I mess them up. It's 2 weeks. So July the 4th you have for refunding. I apologize, Ty. I'll have to send Ty a message on Facebook. Sheila, I was concerned I can't cope with tech. I can't see you now, but found out how to write. I know I'm fine in the art. I'm missing an... Sheila's asking, was the £18 a month for the course? No. So Sheila's a member of my membership group, Art Tribe. That's a totally different thing, where you get the monthly masterclasses and the live Q&As and the guest artists and all of that. That's a totally different thing. Don't let technology put you off this course. You have to be able to watch Zoom calls. We can help you with that. And you have to be able to log into a website to watch videos. And it helps if you can post a comment, because that means you can ask questions. But we have videos to help you with all that. And we have the amazing Jamie there at the end of an email to help with anything you get stuck with. So don't let technology be the thing that puts you off. We keep it as simple as we can. I think I've got to everyone on Zoom. So let me just check Facebook. Wow, thanks for all these questions, everybody. You've been so good. I wasn't sure there'd be anybody here, so it's nice to actually see people. No more questions on Facebook. So I am going to love you and leave you. How many people do we have? Well, we have 59, 50. We have 100 and 100 and some. I can't do my sums. We have over 100 people. All right, take care, everybody. I will be back again if you didn't get your question answered for some reason. Or if something else has popped up, I will be back again tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. And there's a different link for that, but the link is in announcements in the Taster Group course, and I'll send another reminder out tomorrow or this afternoon. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye.